All right, I'll call the meeting. It's 12:03. Judy's not here. Judy?
No, Amantha.
Amantha, you can call the roll. Yes. Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Keller?
Yes.
Wilhite?
Yes.
And then we can just take the time down when Jeff comes, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, board to consider and take possible action in the absence of the president and our clerk, or appointment of the acting president or the clerk for the school district to execute any all documents. Because everybody's here, we can go ahead and skip that and go to number 4. Board to receive the bids for the $700,000 building bonds of the school district and take action to award bonds to the lowest bidder.
And that brings up Andy.
That's me. All right, good afternoon, everybody. We do have 3 separate bids today that we'll be opening under this agenda item. I always think it's a good idea before we open the bids to go over our bond schedule. So that's this one here with the color coding, so the chart sort of. It can only come out once or twice a year, just like to remind us kind of what we're doing with our bond program, where we're headed for open bids today. So I'll touch on this kind of briefly, since I was just here a month and a half ago or so to kind of go over this with you guys, but just give you a fresh update. So on the left side here, these are kind of basically our annual bonds. We sell bonds about once a year. They're color-coded based on the election they go with. So everything in the blue font is from your $4,505,000 you voted here a couple years back. So if you add up all those blue numbers, it'll total $4,505,000. The black up at the top, that's previous bond elections from years past. The red one in the middle, I want to be clear on this, that is not something set in stone. That is the proposed election we've talked about. I only put it on here so you can see how, even with the bonds we sell today, it allows you to do that should you choose to do that sometime in the future and move forward with that. So again, that is not set in stone. There's been action-wise taken on that, but it's just there in case you decide you do want to do it. It shows you how this kind of fits in. The other thing I want to talk about, we talked about before, is we've accelerated your bond sales from the way they were originally projected. Your net assessed valuation growth has been up quite a bit here the last couple of years, which is good, which means we can sell more bonds and still keep the same millage rate or tax rate they were promised patrons when the election was passed. So originally this year we were scheduled to sell $515,000, and you'll see right here the first one, the thin black line is what we're selling today, $700,000 building bonds, May of 16. So we're about $185,000 ahead of schedule, which is great. And if you track down, you'll see the potential one for next year in red, and then we'll sell another one in red next year, 515, 515, 515. And we've actually shortened the original term of it. Your original, when you call for the election, was supposed to run out through 2022. You'll see we've now shortened it to 2020. Again, we've been able to do that by accelerating the bonds, selling them faster because your net asset valuation growth is up ahead of what was projected originally. So each year we'll go in, again, analyze where the valuation is at, where the interest rates are. We'll sell as much as we possibly can in that year to keep the millage at or below what we told patrons, which just FYI is 22 mils. If you check all the way down below the double black line, you'll see annual levy millage rate. When we voted the bond issue a couple years ago, you told patrons 22 mils was your target. We haven't been there yet. With this bond issue, hopefully we'll get to 22 mils, and it should stay pretty flat then through the life of the rest of the bond issue, series bond issue.
And so what that means for us is that any bonds that we pass in the future, the tax rate will not go up. We won't have to ask people for any more money yearly.
The idea is for most schools, once you've gotten to that comfort level with your patrons of 22 mils in your case, you try to stay there. So as these bonds roll off here a few years down the road, you come back with another election if you choose to and keep it at 22 mils. You just keep it flat. As old bonds go off, you put new bonds on. So that's the idea. And the great thing about you all is you shorten it by 2 years, and you can come back 2 years sooner than you originally thought and do that. So good news there. Any questions on that? The bond scheduling, that's kind of quick, but I know we just went over it a couple months ago. I just want to kind of quick review on that. If not, I will go ahead and get to the bids. I passed out a couple other forms. One is received bids. If you want to write them down, you can, just so you all can see them side by side. And the third thing is a motion form. You'll see if you want to help wording your motion, you're welcome to use that. You don't have to, but it can help sometimes. So, without further ado, I will open the bids. Our first one is from UMB Bank. UMB, that's United Missouri Bank. UMB is based out of Kansas City. They do have a pretty large presence here in Oklahoma. They do bid on a lot of bonds. They're a good bidder. They have provided their good faith check for $14,000. That's 2% of the face value of the bonds. It is a requirement of their bid. They provide a good faith check. The purpose of it, we hold the winning bidder's good faith check until we close in May. If for some reason they fail to perform on their duties, it's cash for damages. So it is a requirement. They have provided it. It is the right dollar amount. It is met for the school properly. Their actual bid, they have a premium of $5,000 $635 even, 5,635.00. They have a net interest cost of $15,365.00, 15,365 even. And that gives them an average interest rate of a 1.0975. 1.0975. Next bid is from BOSC Incorporated. BOSC, that's just Bank of Oklahoma Security Corporation. That stands for just BOK's financial arm they use on this type of deal. They've also provided a good faith check for $14,000. So again, it is a proper dollar amount and it is made out to the school properly. Their bid, they have a premium of $0. A net interest cost of $14,700 even. 14,700 even, and that gives them an average interest rate of 1.05%. 1.05. Final bid is a joint bid, two banks bidding together. The Farmers Exchange Bank out of Cherokee, Farmers Exchange, and they are bidding with the Baker Group. The
With
Baker
who?
Group is out of Oklahoma City.
Baker Group?
Yes, Baker Group, kind of an investment firm as opposed to a traditional bank.
The first bid, the second bid, now we're talking about
Okay.
the third.
Typically, just a little FYI, typically the reason banks will go together to bid on a deal, usually it's the more local or smaller bank that's actually buying the bonds. But when you close a bond issue, it goes through a national registry called DTC. There's some cost and registration process to get that done. So for a smaller bank, it doesn't make sense for them to go through all that to buy 1 or 2 bonds a year. So they partner with the larger bank. The larger bank sort of handles the closing for them through that process, but it's really usually the smaller bank that's the ones actually buying your bonds. Again, that's just a little FYI why they do that. They have provided their good faith check for $14,000. So it is the proper dollar amount, and again, made out to the school properly. Their bid, they have a premium of $0. A net interest cost of $14,000 even, 14,000. And that gives them an average interest rate of a 1.00%. 1.00%.
Farmers Exchange with the Baker Group.
Okay, okay.
They went in together.
Okay.
Do you want me to go back over the first two for you?
I'm okay.
Are you sure?
She
Okay,
took care of me.
Okay. All right, good. Good. So we just talked about the rates a little bit. Obviously, it doesn't take a genius to figure out if you can go borrow $700,000 for 1%. That's awesome. That's like basically free money. Hard to do much better than that. But we're rates have been for us here lately. Everything we've sold this year that's similar term, 2 or 3 year bond issues, has been actually a little bit higher than this. And it would be 105, 110, up to about 150. So this is definitely on the low end of what we've seen this year. And I think a lot of that is because you guys have local banks involved. They don't care where the market is. They want to help the local school. And I know the banks here in Cherokee have always been very supportive of not only you guys, but the other schools in the area. So that's part of the reason why those rates get so low for them.
3 bids total.
3 bids total, yes, sir, yep. And just one other thing on the bond schedule, we estimated selling today was set up, I think, about 2.5%, and we came in at 1%, which is way below. Well, that's great. We always try to estimate conservatively. That just means that millage rate that we saw estimated 22, it should be easily at or below that. Because when rates come in under, that means less interest cost. It means that number's going to come down a little bit.
Right.
So that's really good.
That's good for our community.
Yeah, so good. It's good on all fronts. In this case, the law says there is no best bid. The money is money. There is only the lowest bid. So if you accept any bid, you do have to accept the lowest bid. Being a good bidder and a good bid, it would definitely be our recommendation. You accept the low bid of Farmers Exchange and Bankers at a 1%. And unless there's any questions, you just need a motion and second on item number 4 to accept that low bid. And again, there's a motion. Would you like to use that?
I hereby make a motion to accept the low bid of, excuse me, sorry, 14,000 or
Farmers
700
Exchange.
from Farmers Exchange Bank, excuse me, with Baker Group at an interest rate of 1.00. Should have filled that one in too. Sorry.
Okay, I have a motion from TJ.
Second.
Amber's second.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Wilhite.
Yes. Okay, that was easy.
Okay, number 5. Board to consider and take action on a resolution providing for the issuance of the building bonds in the sum of $700,000 by this school district, authorized that an election called and held for such purposes, prescribing form of bonds, providing for registration thereof, providing for levy of an annual tax for the payment of principal and interest on the same, and fixing other details of issuance.
So on item 4, we accepted the low bid. Item 5 is a separate resolution, kind of outlines all the details of the bond issue, which is what you're reading there.
Mhm.
It actually gives the district authority to issue those bonds. So you can have a motion saying item number 5, you've got the motion form, if you'd like to use that.
Yep. I gave that to somebody. The issuance of,
I make a motion to authorize the issuance of the 700,000 building bond dated May 1st, 2016, and fixing other details for the issuance of said bonds.
Amber's made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Jeff, second. Samantha?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Wilhite.
Yes.
Number 6, board to consider and take action on a resolution designating the general obligation bonds of 2016 as qualified tax-exempt obligations pursuant to section 2065B3B of the IRC of 1986.
And it's just made some tax exempt bonds, which is part of the reason we get such nice low rates.
I'll make a motion designating the 700,000 building bonds dated May 1st, 2016 as qualified tax exempt obligations as defined in section 265B3B of the Internal Revenue Service Code.
Tony's made the motion.
Second.
Amber, second.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Wilhite.
Yes.
Number 7, motion to vote to adjourn.
Motion.
Amber's made the motion.
Second.
Jeff, second.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Wilhite.
Yes.
12:15.